That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hi guys, welcome to the Headphone Show. This video is going to be about my experience of going to CanJam New York. I have some general show impressions and some interviews with manufacturers, and I wanted to highlight a few of the things that were just interesting to me because this was the first time I've ever been to a CanJam event, and the Headphones.com guys were kind enough to take me along so I could see what it's all about. One of the coolest things for me was getting a chance to chat with some of the key people in this industry. A lot of these people I've known about for a long time, but this was the first time I got a chance to actually meet them in person. And there were a ton of different manufacturers and vendors there. You could have spent days going through and you still wouldn't end up meeting everybody. But I wanted to highlight some of the ones that I did get a chance to chat with. I talked with the guys from Lake People. They are releasing a new line of amplifiers and source gear called Nimbus. That was one of the more interesting amps that I had heard. These are the guys who do Vioelectric as well, and Freed from Lake People gave me a bit of a rundown on his new Nimbus line.
From 2009 we had the Vioelectric line for private customers because everybody told us, well, it sounds good, looks like a fridge. We thought by ourselves we can make also some nice looking gear. This was Vioelectric, and we also made a little bit of research and found some circuitry which even enhanced the good sound from the Lake People series. During the years we refined a little bit our technique to make the headphone amps even better sounding, meaning that we try to conserve a little bit the distortion of the amplifiers in a way, what some people call a little bit tubey, meaning that the first harmonic is always a little bit higher than the followed unharmonic distortion.
I also got a chance to talk to 64 Audio, and I love 64 Audio IEMs. They're my favorite so far. And they have a new custom IEM coming out called the A18 Stage.
So we wanted to make something a little more geared to our musicians. So we came up with the A18 Stage, giving it a higher volume, including our lid, which is our linear impedance device in there, and kind of tune it a bit differently. It's like an in-between of the 12 and the 18, so you're getting that good detailed dynamic range of the 18, but you still get the lower rise out of the 12. Our planned actual release, have it for sale, is going to be end of February.
End of February.
Which is end of this month.
Yeah.
Now, while I'm more on the universal side of things, I'm curious about doing the custom IEM thing just because I want to know what that experience is like as well. So maybe that'll be something I look into in the future. Dan Clark Audio was also there, and while Dan Clark himself wasn't present, I got a chance to talk to Andy Regan, who was giving me a rundown on the new Aeon 2 closed and open.
One of the new features besides all new drivers is it folds down for portable storage.
Right.
Makes it quite small and comes with this really cool case that you can travel with.
Wonderful.
Okay, all new driver configuration.
So that's flipping the magnets to the other side.
Yeah, the magnets are on the opposite side.
Yeah.
And,
Great.
So we got a bigger soundstage with it, more slam in the bottom end.
I've actually already done a review of the Aeon 2 closed already, but I was curious how different that was from the open version, which I hope to review sometime soon. So stay tuned for that. One of the most surprising things to me was getting a chance to try some of the Chi-Fi IEMs. I got a chance to try the Moondrop Blessing 2. This is a Harman-tuned IEM that I was completely blown away by, and it comes in at a very modest price, somewhere between $300 and $400. I don't know what the availability is going to be like for that, but it was a really fantastic IEM for the price. The well-known electrostatic headphone manufacturer Stax was there. They had their own room, And so they have a number of models, the SR-009 and SR-007, and different revisions of each. If you guys think of electrostatic headphones as being these somewhat brighter tuned, treble-focused headphones, the SR-007 is something that might change your mind because it actually has sub-bass. And of course, a lot of the industry staples were there. Focal was there. They had a huge booth set up right in the middle, and it was awesome to see all of their different headphones on a ton of different gear. And I think for a lot of people, it was their first time trying out Focal's latest Stellia headphone, closeback. And so a lot of people that I talked to were impressed by that. I've obviously reviewed it as well, and to me it's one of the best closeback flagships you can buy. And then I got a chance to do a number of longer format interviews. I've actually already posted one from Hi-Fi Man, which you guys can take a look at. But I also got a chance to talk with Sankar from Odyssey. He was telling me all about his new LCD-1 closeback that's going to be coming out soon. We don't know when exactly, but he told me it was a wireless one, so that should be interesting.
But so is there going to be active DSP when you're using it? Like, is it something that you could like push a button and turn it on? Or?
It won't be like Mobius.
Not like Mobius. Okay.
No, not like Mobius. There's no 3D head tracking or anything like that. It's a plain headphone, but we will have a DSP module, and we have the Cypher.
That's
module,
what I'm thinking. Yes,
that we will have on this. Yeah.
Going for the same kind of frequency response, the same tonality.
Correct, yeah. So if the tonality and frequency response will be the typical Odyssey.
Cool. Where am I putting it?
Put it in here. Turn it and put it. Yeah, put it in. Okay.
Okay.
You can pull it.
Okay.
Right. Now try it on this side.
Yeah. Okay.
The LCD-1 is a very portable, lightweight, small form factor open back headphone, and while I personally would have wanted it to be the closed back version to be wired, I think it'll be interesting to see what he does with this wireless technology. I remember that Odyssey has also produced the Mobius, and so this isn't entirely new territory for them. Head Audio was also at the show, and while I've already reviewed their headphone, it was great to talk to their CEO, Freddie. He gave me a full rundown on their new driver technology that they're pioneering in headphones, namely Air Motion Transformer, or AMT.
What makes it different from the traditional, planar, magnetic, and dynamic driver headphones?
Sure. So before getting into the whole headphone game, we've been doing loudspeakers, and we still do loudspeakers that are based on something called the Air Motion Transformer. But the Air Motion Transformer traditionally is a tweeter design that works unlike anything like a piston-based like cone or dome tweeters. All this is based on the idea that air is pushed back and forth by a diaphragm, and the velocity in which the air is moved equals the velocity in which the actual diaphragm is moving. Now in an Air Motion Transformer, you have a large diaphragm that is folded into a magnetic field, and then if you look into a driver like that with a microscope, you would see that each fold is kind of squeezing the air in and out, and by squeezing it, the air is actually accelerated. So we believe it's a really good technology to catch musical material that has fast transients. Everything with short attacks can be captured quite more appropriately compared to traditional driver designs.
So stay tuned for that full interview. And actually after the show, they took us to a recording studio where they had their full range speaker set up, the Tower Mains, and that was crazy to hear in a good environment like that. One of the things that they were doing was getting industry professionals, recording engineers, to try out the headphone to see what they think of potentially using this as a tool, as something that would help them in their profession.
I think they have like really good definition and really clean and clear low frequency response.
So it was really interesting to see some of the reactions from people listening to this. Of course, Zach from ZMF was there. They had a whole room set up for ZMF headphones, and I got a chance to talk to Zach one-on-one. I'll be releasing a full interview of that in a little bit here, but I gotta say that was absolutely one of the highlights of the show for me. It's well known that Zach and Bevan are some of the nicest people in the industry, and I gotta say that this has not been exaggerated. It was wonderful to connect with them, and of course getting a chance to see all of the crazy new woods that ZMF's been working with for a lot of their headphones. A lot of the high-end tube amplifiers were there as well. So you had the Glen OTL there, you had the Pendant, and you had a number of different amps that they were running all of the ZMF headphones off of. So if you wanted to see what a particular pairing sounded like, there was a good chance you had that opportunity at the show. And lastly, of course, it was great to meet all of the other reviewers or people who I've come to know in online communities and just chat with you guys. It was a ton of fun to connect and go through our experiences and evaluations at the show.
So this is the first time Metal 571 is hearing the Abyss AB1266-TC. And he's listening to it on, what is this? This is the Woo Audio Wah 3. That looks
33. I think it's
33.
the same as that one.
Okay. There's no film in the camera.
Judgment is that there's no film.
While show conditions are often not ideal because you can't really get the best sense of what something's going to sound like, you have all the environmental noise and whatnot. Being able to go there and hang out with some of the other reviewers and get impressions one right after the other and bounce these impressions off one another to kind of get a sense of what to listen for in specific passages that somebody might be noticing. That was awesome.
I gotta get the full frontal here. What do you think of the 007s?
What I think of them?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah?
Great. They're better. I like them better than the 09s. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so
this sounds like flat, upper mids dip, and then at like 14K and above, it's like.
Yeah, it does. It does have a little.
I mean, it's really detailed though. So I mean,
really detailed.
how's the slam?
There's some.
So we're actually going to coming to the best headphones at the show. This is the,
I don't know what
it's
those are doing.
hidden back here because only a few people get a chance to listen to them.
That's the VIP section.
Yeah, this right here behind. This is the VIP section. Select few get a chance to.
Actually, it's pretty funny. I saw a number of community members using their own music that they would just bring and then hooking it up to whatever stack and then listening to their music from the headphones, so at least they could have some sort of reference point. And while I didn't get a chance to talk to everybody at the show, I was able to round up some of the reviewers at the end, and so I'll let them give their impressions for what their highlights of the show were.
So we're doing a reviewer impressions over here. So we got max settings, we got flux, and we got Metal 571 back from the dead.
I was dead.
Starting with Max, what was the most impressive thing from CanJam New York, which is behind us still going on
right now?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a tough one. The most impressive things to toss up between either the Diana that DMS modded, which is really good, y'all need to release that, or the 1266-TC on the big stack that was in the Linus Tech Disk videos. Both of those were just incredible, really good detail, insane dynamics and bass, and yeah, Abyss really impressed me this year.
Things that impressed me: the Etymotic booth. Value for money.
It's like right over there.
It's absolutely incredible. Headphone on the IFI stack. Probably best in show for me was the LCD-4 on the, is it the Nagra tube DAC?
What about the Susvara?
Susvara was pretty good on a lot of stuff. I actually felt that on multiple setups, the Susvara was better than the 1266-TC, but then on the Abyss Linus stack, it was better. Susvara probably sounded best on either the Bartok or the Nimbus amp that was at the Bioelectric booth.
Right.
And then I guess like closing thoughts is just like the 007 on a Blue Hawaii special edition.
Yeah.
That was nuts. That was absolutely nuts. I know metal says way too bright, but like that's the best I've heard.
Wait, the 007,
maybe only the
Mark
Mark
1.
Maybe only the Mark 1. Yeah. Which was surprising.
Yeah, the 2.9 might be the like better choice on the Blue Hawaii just because of the treble. Yeah, that was really good.
Like DMS's modded Diana Phi is just out of control. Like I said, like it weighs almost nothing, but it sounds like better than an LCD-4 in some ways. Jeez. Anyway, but aside from that, to add to this, something that surprised me is the LCD GX is actually quite good, and that was not expected because I haven't classically been a fan of the MX4, and it's basically a single-sided MX4, but it has a really good frequency response and detail. It sounds good to me for
a lot
the
cheaper.
price. I think it's like $8.99,
yeah,
and it weighs like nothing compared to the other one. So hopefully I'll get that into for a review soon.
Which means there's a comeback.
Yeah. I'm still thinking about coming back in March. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. So.
Did you try the headphone on the iFi?
Yeah, the head audio headphone sounds like it has resolution that's I'd say, I guess, on par with like at least LCD-3, which is really good. For some reason, it sounded really strange on one of the other amps that we tried it on, but when it sounds like it's supposed to sound, yeah, I agree. It seems like a good value, as long as you can deal with the comfort because of the weight. And yeah, they need to add more clicks to the headband.
Longer extension of the yoke.
Yeah. Actually, to add one more thing, ZMF room.
Oh yeah.
Was absolutely phenomenal. It's like right next to us, and like we see the rest of it, but then it's like I spent so long in there enjoying a verite on the pendant, like on a particular wood. I don't remember. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was the Cocobolo Verite on the Glen OTL that sounded really good, and then the O'Tour Zero Code
on
the pendant. Yeah. Those two were phenomenal.
Pendant was legit.
Yeah, it was actually legit, and I never would have expected that when I had a Blackwood O'Tour, and it was on my gear that I was familiar with. Like that, it blew it away.
Yeah, and Metal's gonna buy a ZMF Verite closed,
confirmed.
No. So, Zach.
Right.
They had some crazy woods though, like the stabilized burl or something like that.
Yeah, the maple.
I hope you took pictures of that too, because that's I think the Verite closed has a lot of potential, but they didn't have enough suede pads for me to swap around.
That's a new pad. That's the Verite suede, because they previously had the Universe suede. And
I want to try the Verite suede solid pad on it. And probably also the Universe suede solid pad, which I think I actually have that one, but not the Verite version.
Yeah.
It's just so many. Yeah.
Any final thoughts? You were scared by the Susvara, right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, the Susvara and the Nagra. What's that song called?
Hold On. The Amber Rubarth 17th Ward thing.
That scared me. I thought it was like,
it was great.
Wait a minute. That was like way over there. That was really cool. I really liked that.
For me, I really enjoyed checking out and comparing some of the truly crazy flagship headphones like the Abyss AB1266-TC and comparing that with the Stax SR-007 on also really high-end amplifiers. And I think for a lot of us at the show, getting a chance to do this was also a highlight. When you hear something new that kind of transcends what you thought was possible with headphones, that's a fun experience. And again, while show conditions are not the best place to be evaluating this, it's still good enough where you can get that sense of, well, this is new, this is groundbreaking territory. And so everything from, whether it's the Odyssey LCD-4, the Headphone, the Abyss AB1266-TC, the Shangri-La, the Susvara from Hi-Fi Man, these were all crazy new experiences for me, and I think for a lot of people at the show. And so what I'll leave you with is, if you ever have a chance to go to one of these events, if you're curious about what some of this ridiculous high-end stuff sounds like, do it. Because as much as show environments are not the greatest, you still get a sense of that something new experience. So once again, huge thanks to the guys from headphones.com for taking me along to CanJam New York, and I'm really excited about getting a chance to go to the next event. I'm not sure what that's going to be, but I'm really looking forward to having those experiences again. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.